Are you ready to transform your summer into an epic splash-tastic adventure? Say goodbye to wasteful, single-use water balloons and hello to the ultimate in reusable, eco-friendly fun with reusable water balloons. Check out the link in the video description to get yours on Amazon today.
Joe Biden has dropped out of the 2024 presidential race after years of embarrassing gaffes appear to have finally caught up with him. Just days prior to his announcement, the 81-year-old Democrat made a series of verbal blunders, such as confusing Vice President Kamala Harris with Donald Trump and awkwardly referring to his defense secretary as that black man when he forgot his name. His history of cringy mishaps includes everything from bumping into flagpoles and falling off bikes to calling people the wrong names and even neglecting to shake hands with foreign officials. Here are some of the top 10 most embarrassing gaffes of his presidency. 1. Biden calls Zelensky President Putin. President Joe Biden introduced Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as President Putin in a brutal gaffe at the NATO summit with his political future hanging by a thread. The ailing 81-year-old was facing mounting calls to drop out of the presidential race when he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin." The embarrassing flub in front of world leaders sparked gasps and those in the room had to shout the correct name. "No, we're going to beat Putin," Biden said, and blamed the blunder on being so focused on defeating the Russian tyrant who invaded Ukraine 2.5 years ago. One of his worst gaffes yet came in front of global allies and shortly before his pivotal big boy press conference that could be the final nail in the coffin for his hopes of remaining as the Democratic candidate. The latest bungled comments will add fuel to the fire for critics who say he isn't capable of being in office for another 4 years, yet alone winning in November. 2. Calls Kamala Harris VP Trump. Biden committed a significant flub, just hours after blowing his introduction of President Zelensky. While defending his viability, he trumpets Vice President Kamala Harris, but bizarrely refers to her as Vice President Trump. "Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be Vice President, did I think she's not qualified to be President?" Number 1, Biden said. He then moves beyond the mix-up, before getting a question referencing his earlier comments blowing his introduction of Zelensky. 3. Forgets his own defense secretary's name and calls him black man. Joe Biden appeared to forget his own defense secretary Lloyd Austin's name during an interview and instead called him black man. The president was speaking while campaigning in Las Vegas, a trip that was cut short on Wednesday when the 81-year-old tested positive for COVID-19. In the interview with Black Entertainment Television, Biden said, "It's all about treating people with dignity. For example, look at the heat I'm getting because I named the Secretary of Defense, a black man." A spokesperson for the Biden campaign didn't mention the mumbled response about Austin. Instead, he said in the BET interview that the president talked at length about the importance of Black America, the historic ways he has delivered for Black communities, and his proactive vision to stand up for civil rights, grow an economy where hard work pays off, and make housing more affordable. 4. Walks off stage, runs into a flag and fails to shake hands with Brazil's president. On September 20th last year, ailing Biden seemed to produce gaffe after gaffe while on the UN stage alongside Brazil's president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Lula da Silva, 78, looked visibly irritated after the two leaders shared a stage to speak about their initiative to improve workers' rights in each country because Biden walked off without shaking his hand. Their diplomatic meeting got off to a labored start when Biden shuffled into a 7-foot Brazilian flag, leaving it teetering as he approached the podium. The president made a rambling speech about his economic vision to rebuild our economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, while Lula watched on from his right flank. Meanwhile, during Lula's speech, Biden fumbled with his headset, which he was using to hear a translated version. Biden continued to look confused as he grappled with the headset while Lula went on with his speech. At one point, Biden dropped his earpiece and raised his eyebrows in frustration. International Labor Organization Director General Gilbert Hungbo shook hands with Biden and Lula in turn at the close of H.